Go ahead.
Well, your favorite fresh dairy products could be going off the market if the power crisis persisting in the country continues, as dealers say the losses they are suffering are becoming unbearable.
Our colleague Abigail Adumako-in-Chief filed this report.
Most Kenyans prefer to consume dairy and food products fresh and frozen, with Fine Yogo, Fan Ice, Tampico from the Fan Milk family the most heavily patronized. But retailers say they are finding it difficult trading in these products because of the power crisis. Yao Donko treks for long hours daily, only for his products to thaw.
We usually wrap the products in sacks to keep them from melting, because when they are melted, we lose as people do not buy.
He says he now takes less than half the 200 pieces he used to buy a day.
I now take 80 because there is no light, and add about 30 pieces sometimes. I lose about 20 pieces, so the power crisis is really a challenge.
The distributors also complain their sales have dropped significantly.
Yeah, a day we normally have guys like 15 sacks of sugar, then 5 sacks of fan choco. But if the light, that's why I say if the product is melt, they can't be able to sell the 15 sack of, that is 1,500. They can't sell the 1,500. They can only sell at least 900, 800. Like yesterday, they tried their best to sell 800 because there is light. Yesterday we are having all the light off.
The situation is that bad. Most milk products distributors without generators have gone out of business.
If sometimes the light is general and they have generator, the generator they can't supply everybody. You know, we are too many under them. Okay. So we can go and provide your own generator. If you don't have generator, there's no how you can do it.
The case of Mama Jane, who deals in the wholesale and retail of fresh yogurt, is no different. She's contemplating abandoning the business entirely as she contends her returns have diminished massively.
My profit has dropped from 100 cedis a month to about 20 cedis on the sale of the fresh yogurt. I cannot continue to make losses, so I will stop sales for now until the power situation is better.
Evidently, companies who produce these dairy products are losing huge sums, having to take them back from distributors after they go bad. For now, dealers say they can only count their losses with the hope that the crisis will soon be over. Abigail Adumako-in-Chief for Joy News.
And that reminds me, in my fridge, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because one day I walked in, because I had the power cuts for, I think, almost 2 days, or 3 days continuously, for over 48 hours. So I walked in and I saw that the whole house was smelling. I said, please, switch off the fridge.
Amazing. I mean, a lot of us have had to put the fridge off, because what's the point? If you go off 24 hours, then what can you keep in it? I mean, I did like a fine garden stew and just ate it once and that was it. Yeah, it hurts.
You're making me salivate. I think it's now time for me to take breakfast.
But I think that ECG is not being fair, because some people have said that they've been on for 3 days continuous now, making others believe that the situation has improved. But if that is the case, then let all of us feel it. There should be fair distribution. But at the moment, there isn't any fair distribution.
Your situation hasn't been
no. It is so strict.
So you're the
so strict.
You're one of the most dissatisfied consumers.
Yeah, I mean some people in Lashibi and other areas I don't want to mention, because
they are getting
yeah,
it's not true.
Continuous.
Not true.
Do you live in Lashibi, for instance?
I stay close to Lashibi. Not true.
You stay close. You don't live there.
No, it's not true. Lashibi is a very long stretch, so you can't always.
But there's one person here this morning who's telling me that she hasn't been off in a while.
All right.
At least if they go off in the morning, they come back in the evening. So at least there's like 12 hours off. Okay, but we've got to move on. Let's move on. We're still on energy. Energy policy analyst John Peter Amewu has expressed concern that the country's poor maintenance culture has resulted in the breakdown of 2 power generating plants, Tico and Taco.
Speaking to Joy News, John Peter Amewu tasked government to immediately make funds available to fix the 2 broken plants or broken down plants which could be helpful in addressing the current energy shortfalls the country is facing.
Reports from authorities of the Ghana Gas Company indicates that the 2 broken down power generating plants are frustrating their efforts to supply the country with an estimated 650 megawatts of power, which could go a long way in solving the power crisis. Energy policy analyst John Peter Amewu contends this problem could have been prevented.
The basic problem we have with the sector have to do with 3 main things. Number 1 has to do with government's its own refusal somewhere last year to advance money for purchase of light crude oil. Number 2 had to do with our security of supply of our gas from Nigeria. Okay, even then the Nigeria gas, which was supposed to be 120, averagely till date, they've delivered about 50%. So what means is that the 50% undelivered had taken off about 200 megawatts of power supply, because Nigeria gas should be able to give us 400 megawatts of power supply. As I speak today, the deficit is about 650. So where is the other 450 coming from? Obviously, it's not as a result of Nigeria gas alone. This can tell you by simple, arithmetic. So that is number 2. Number 3 has to do largely with what we call systematic, lack of culture of maintenance as a country. And these are the 3 main factors that I think have contributed to where we are as a country. Government's indecisions in, starting the gas processing plant could be a contributing factor. If we had started that plant earlier on, probably some of the plant might be available now for the gas, to be fired for usage. Unfortunately, there was a delay. Previous government started it, it was curtailed, a new government comes on with its own policy, in the sense that the process had not continuous. If the process had continuous, right down from where the previous government had left, we would have finished Atuabo gas long ago.
He added the power crisis facing the country could have improved by now if the excess gas wasting away was put to effective use.
It may minimize when some of these plants on periodic maintenance is brought back. But the difficulty we have as a country is funding. If government advance money today, most of the problem will be solved. I agree with the school of thought of people who think that there's something need to be done within ECG. Okay, ECG as a collector, as a distributor, and as a supplier has so much to be done. Currently, ECG is not giving that signal to the generators that, of course, is financially sound to buy. If you are a producer, you want to sell your commodity, you sell your commodity to somebody who has a very good cash flow. That gives you an indication that the person will be able to pay. Currently, the IPPs are not getting that signal from the ECG because the financial statement is bad, the balance sheet is weak, the cash flow is not a good indicator. So you're not sending that signal. And that is why the IPPs are not coming in.
VRA's power plants can presently take no more than 16 million standard cubic feet of gas per day. This means an estimated 50 million cubic feet of gas go unused. Ghana's total current supply is pegged at 1,650, despite a generation capacity of 2,300 megawatts, which has resulted in a 3-year power crisis, crippling industries and small businesses.
Let's turn our attention to education, and since its inception about 8 years ago, Ghana's school feeding program has grappled with various controversies and challenges.
Well, from the quality of food through quantity served to payments of caterers who work on the program, the challenges have been numerous and enormous. But what you have not seen yet is the extent pupils will go to ensure they personally enhance the meals served them in school. So Martha Krentel visited her alma mater, Liberty Avenue 4 Primary in Accra.
How are you?
We are fine, thank you. And what about you?
Oh, we are also fine here.
Thank you.
I was a pupil of the Liberty Avenue 4 Primary School some 24 years ago. Standing in what used to be my primary 5 classroom, I'm recognized by Miss Amankra, a teacher who is surprisingly still at the school. This room still houses primary 5 pupils, but something has changed. The class is highly congested now. And that is not the only change. The children now benefit from the school feeding program. Today, they are having jollof rice for lunch. There is a scramble for food, and it looks like utter chaos. However, the caterer assured me everything is under control. She says she knows the over 400 children by face. However, most of the pupils want more than just the food.
So she has decided to go for chicken to make her jollof extra nice. Spaghetti and fish to your food. Yes. Why?
Oh, because they don't give us fish or meat. So we will take the food and go and buy some fish to eat with it.
They may not have much money, but with 1 Ghana cedi, they can add fish, meat, egg and spaghetti to the school food. However, in some instances, they simply can't do anything to improve the quality of food.
Mondays, you all know what to eat on Monday. What do you eat?
Jollof.
On Tuesday, what do you eat?
Beans.
On Wednesday?
Banku.
Thursday?
Wache.
And then Friday? Okay.
Oh, and in case you are wondering what they call the school feeding program, listen to this.
Why are you not eating the jollof?
I don't like jollof.
Oh, why? Jollof is the same as rice. Is it a school feeding jollof that you don't like?
Yes.
Why?
I don't like abang.
You call the jollof abang?
Yes.
Martha Konsolakwa reporting for Joy News, Accra.
We want chicken and macaroni to add it. We want good food to eat and add to your dynamic.
Well, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be going to our alma maters and the reporting. What did you?
What's different. But what I want to say is that no, I'll tell you where I went to. I went to a different primary school. I went to a different JHS. Wow. These kids know a lot more than we thought. So, yeah.
That I think sometimes the education at home too. They tend to hear their parents and the elderly guardians talking about.
I think yesterday Ernesto Poku did say quite a bit. But I went to Dansuman for JSS in Dansuman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my primary school, Charlie, I went to like 4 primary schools.
That's a plush school.
The Dansuman for JSS is a plush.
So.
That's a government school. I did. Yes, Saito, just straight to the point. But it was, big class Saito. You know what I mean.
All right. Well, the youth wing of the Convention People's Party has staged what could pass for a mini demonstration to commemorate the overthrow of Ghana's founding president 49 years ago.
And our colleague filed this report, but I've got to say that Dr. Nkrumah had been leader of the Independence Ghana for about 9 years when he was deposed by a coup d'etat on February 24, 1966. Well, the demonstration by the CPP Youth Wing was also used to demand the return of party assets which were seized after Dr. Nkrumah's overthrow. So here's my colleague's report, Derek Eccleston.
The demonstrators, mainly sympathizers of the Convention People's Party, converged at the Obras Port here in Accra in a protest to pressure government to return, as they put it, assets that were seized from the party after the overthrow of Dr. Nkrumah.
Well, we are here protesting against injustice, the injustice that is being done against the people of Ghana and the Convention People's Party. As we speak, there are citizens in this country whose properties have been confiscated to the state simply because they served in the first CPP administration. As we speak, the Convention People's Party has its own set of problems that, it's confronted with in terms of the cake of injustice. One being the fact that only the CPP is, bastardized in textbooks and vilified. Only the CPP has some of its members banished. Only the CPP has, some of its members denied from contesting any public office according to the 1992 Constitution.
The Deputy Communications Director, Evans Teria, says the party would go as far as the courts to ensure the assets are returned.
So if I heard you right, you mean you head to court after this?
Oh, yes.
When should we expect you to head to court?
I can't give timelines, but that's the right thing we're going to do. But we are going to also set protests so that government can listen. If you can listen and just see that that part of the constitution is useless and must be repealed.
Some of the child protesters, drawn from the People's School for Positive Education, spoke to Joy News about why they got involved.
I'm here to help my parents who are in the CPP to get access to their properties.
Your parents had their properties seized when?
Their properties have been sold by the NDC and the MPP parties. And even recently I heard that they are wanting to sell the Ghana electricity company. And all these achievements were led and were produced by Dr. Nkrumah.
Are you not supposed to be in school today?
Oh no, I can't be in school learning the benefits of colonization. So I have to help my parents to fight for their assets, to change the country, or we vote against the puppet leaders in our country. I'm here to support the CPP to gain back their assets and to fight against hypocrisy in Ghana.
Are you not supposed to be in school?
I'm supposed to be in school,
so
but I'm here to support the CPP because Nkrumah achieved many things for Ghanaians. And if today we, the younger generation, if we don't fight for that thing to stay, we will still bow down in shame.
The involvement of the school children comes at a time the Ministry of Education is contemplating sanctions for head teachers who allowed their pupils to take part in the recent demonstration against the energy crisis. But the principal of the People's School for Positive Education, Nkrumah, says he is unperturbed.
No, we're not afraid of any kind of punishment because we know that this is the most important education. The most important education for young people is to understand that they should have an educational system that should not denigrate the founder of our country, that calls him a dictator in our social studies books and in our government books. And then the proof of this miseducation is that in our international airport, Kotaka's name, who illegally overthrew Kwame Nkrumah on this day, 24 February 1966.
Derek Ekosam, Obra Sports, Accra.
Well, so that's the CPP, but the demonstration in Kumasi will also be coming off, and it's not being put together by the CPP, though.
Yeah, this is a group that is organizing this demonstration. Our colleague in Kumasi, Erastus Asari Donko, is joining us via phone right now. Erastus, I can hear some noise. Has the demonstration started?
Well, the demonstrators are gathering here at the boys' school, just close to the Swami roundabout. And currently, as I speak, I can count about 200 people now. And more people are coming in, and they are saying that the organizers are saying that they will be moving out by 8 a.m. So we are all gathered here, we are waiting. But you can see some of the demonstrators all clad in black and red with red headgears and all that. It comprises women and men as well. So they are gathering now. We are hoping that by 8 they will be moving out.
So what's the plan, Erastus? Take us through the routes.
Well, from here we'll be passing through the Swami roundabout towards Kejitia through Nkrumah, and then we'll go straight to Adum, where other people will join, and then they will move through some principal streets of Adum as well and end up at the Regional Coordinating Council, where I do learn they will present their grievances to the regional minister.
Do you see the leadership of the NPP, though, because they have said that they're joining this demonstration?
Currently, I see no leadership, as in national leadership or perhaps regional leadership, just some few of the regional executives who are here currently.
So this group, do we know who they are? Can we say that they are NPP members, for instance?
Yeah, I can say because I have seen some known faces within the regional NPP. They call this one Yabre Demo. As to who is organizing it, I do know that the whole NPP fraternity is involved. And I've seen the regional youth organizer here and quite a number. of other executives as well.
Erastus, I tell you what, we'll touch base with you in a little bit when the demonstration gets a bit heated. Our colleague in Kumasi, Erastus Asari Donko, telling us about that demonstration slated for today, demonstration in Kumasi.
And this is what we'll do. We'll try to give you a lot more feedback from our correspondent, again, this time as we did in the Wangbo demonstration in Accra, from correspondents who have been deployed at various sections of the routes, and we'll give you a vivid description of what is happening. But if you are also close by, make sure that you tend to tweet to a handle at Joy News on TV on Twitter, but also tag us with a lot more of your pictures you're taking with your cell phones on our Facebook page, Joy News on TV.
Moving on, though, the Attorney General's Department has discontinued the case against 6 persons charged with the offense of aiding and abetting the export of cocaine from Ghana.
The 6, including businessman Alhaji Dawood and Foreign Affairs Serving Officer Abel Ashite Ama, were arrested and charged with the offense following the arrest of a Ghanaian Austrian lady at Heathrow Airport on November 10 last year with some 12.5 kilograms of cocaine from Ghana. Kwachi Afrenyama was in the courts for Joy News.
Prosecutor, a panel of Mamata, was the first to address the court. She told a presiding judge, Francis Obri, that the Attorney General's Department has filed what we call the nolle prosequi, and in that regard, they have decided not to continue with the prosecution of these 6 suspects linked to the Nayeli Ametepe cocaine scandal. Then the judge read extracts of this rather brief statement that he says the court received from the AG's department, signed by the Attorney General herself. And what it said, what's contained in that statement, from what Francis Obiri read, was that the AG's department, as had been stated earlier by the prosecutor, had decided to discontinue the trial with the intention of dropping all the charges. And as you may know, in some of the instances like this, when the AG decides to file a nolle prosequi, whoever is occupying that portfolio is not required to provide specific reasons why they are dropping the charges. So the judge mentioned against this backdrop that the court will therefore not be able to continue with the trial. So all the charges against them were dropped or have been dropped as we speak. As you can imagine, these 6 suspects were obviously elated, even as the judge was reading out the extracts of the statement from the AG's department. You could see smiles on their faces, excitement on family members who were in court as well, obviously very elated. Immediately the court discharged them. They were careful not to spend another. And immediately the court discharged them. They were careful not to spend another second in court. Immediately, again, they left the premises of the circuit court. There was jubilation outside, especially family members of a businessman, Tema-based businessman, Alhaji Dawood, jubilating all over. They are Muslims, so they were singing and chanting some Islamic songs, quoting some verses from the Quran, obviously.
All right, that's Kwachi Afrenyama, who was in court reporting for us. Meanwhile, head of research at the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center, Dr. Kwesi Enin, says he is disappointed in Ghana's criminal justice system for the inability to prosecute the alleged accomplices of Nayeli Ametepe. He says the acquittal raises several questions over Ghana's commitment to the fight against narcotics and casts a negative image of Ghana to its foreign partners in the fight against illicit drugs.
Dr. Enin spoke to our colleague Aisha Ibrahim.
The Nayeli Ametepe issue was one that raised a lot of eyebrows. Now we're hearing that the Attorney General has dropped the charges and they're saying they're no longer interested in the matter. Doesn't this raise security issues?
Well, it doesn't raise security issues per se. I think what it raises are questions about Ghana's determination, first and foremost, to fight and resist, the penetration of narcotics and its influences on on our lives. Secondly, relates to the perception of our international partners in terms of the dedication and willingness for us to resist the penetration of our society. Now, if you remember, this is not the first high-profile case in which a lot of noise has been made in terms of arrests and possible prosecution, and for which nothing has come out of it. Now, this particular case is very interesting, and I'll come to your security question later on. This particular case is interesting because of the challenges it posed both to our international partners, particularly from the UK, and the robust statement by the British High Commissioner to dissociate the British organizations from having collaborated with the Ghanaian agencies on this particular case. Now, added to that was that the president then dissolved the board. So there was a lot of interest, both domestically and internationally about the outcome of this particular case. Now, the security question relates not so much to what is going to happen here in Ghana, but it relates to aviation security as a whole, particularly that this is not just about the ability of criminal gangs to infiltrate a very secure part of our airport and to actually get out of that place. I mean, this relates to what could have been in that bag. I mean, it could have been any other thing apart from narcotics. Now, if airport security can be breached so fundamentally, and particularly from the most securest of secure places, then I think it raises questions, yes, about the kinds of things that can enter this country and the kinds of things that can leave this country also.
So are you disappointed in the judiciary system? We're looking at this case in point.
Oh dear, I'm way too old to be disappointed or shocked by any such thing. No. I mean, as I head towards my pension age, I'm just looking forward to other people carrying the mantle and carrying the baton and trying to raise awareness about some of the incentives that allows criminal gangs to be able to use this country. So it is not just a matter of one particular institution that we should be focusing on. I mean, we should be focusing on issues relating to the forensics, in gathering the evidence. We should be looking at the role of law enforcement, certainly of the judiciary. We should be looking at the role of, the prosecution. So it's the whole institutional framework that ought to have collaborated as well as possible to be able to gather the minutest of evidence and to be able to present it in a credible manner for the legal process to have gone on. So I think this is a fairly sad day for Ghana, really.
Well, so that's how it is. But also questions our commitment, just like Dr. Kwesieni is talking about. But the point is, if we know we didn't have any case against them or any evidence, why did we go in?
Yeah, exactly. Why did we start?
Police you government for traumatizing them. I would have, though.
Exposing them to public ridicule.
Yes, and discrediting their integrity.
I should do my law. I could take on cases like this for free.
Sure.
Make some money and then we share.
Yeah, come to talk about it. But come to talk about how the weather will be like. We'll be having in the studio Kamini Nyamani Amano to give us details of the weather up next.
And today is our assignment editor's birthday here at Joy News, Martha Krenzel Aqua. We say happy birthday to you. Enjoy your birthday today.
Okay, it's also your birthday, Foster Bidiako. You're also one of our leading presenters here. We say have a pleasant day as well. I hope that we buy you good minted as well as baked cake. Who's buying?
Martha has lunch, free lunch today,
okay,
so you can come by.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We're still on the AM show.
There's the weather next.